How's everybody doing? I should probably turn on this light. I don't know how long that'll stay on. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day this finds you across this great blue planet of ours, this blue marble. Little ASMR for you. You're welcome. If you're at Gary Con or Breakout Con, I hope you guys are having fun. It's going to be a nice weather here in the Midwest, or at least in the Wisconsin area. I hope everybody gets out. It's like spring, right? Is it spring today? Spring yesterday? Fall maybe some other places? I had to splurge. I had a rough week last week. So it's over. It's done. It's gone. It's in the past. But I figured, you know what? Sometimes you just got to indulge. What is going on? I think, who is here first? Somebody showed up at like 7 in the morning Central Time or something crazy. And it wasn't Ryan West. But nonetheless, there's Ryan. Morning. Joe, morning. Make sure everybody's who's here. Who's who is who. Victor, morning. Mike, morning. 1:15 a.m. stream start? Is that what I had down? Oh, you know what? I think I scheduled it. I probably scheduled it at 1:15 and didn't change the time. Because when you schedule a stream, the default time is when you are actually like entering it into YouTube. So yes, it was an error. RPG Sean after dark. He puts on a smoking jacket and sits in the chair in the back. I just think there's something there. Maybe. Maybe I need to do that, like after hours. After dark, for sure. Joe Swick, you'll get some royalties off of that, just saying. Morning. Jake. Wayne, morning. Arithko, morning. It's like he said it messed up again. Orcus, morning. Orcus put out an interesting poll out on Blue Sky. Favorite swords and sorcery movie. Favorite sword and sorcery hero or heroine. Favorite swords and sorcery weapon. Favorite swords and sorcery villain. Did I miss one? Pretty good, huh? Still got it for like another couple days. Jim, morning. Flint, morning. Matt, good to see you. Morning. Happy belated equinox. Tad, morning. Likewise. Gabe, morning. Missed you last week. Just wanted to say it was noticed. Hoos, morning. Morning. Morning, sunshine. What's up, sleepy face? Before light, the only way to roll. Harrigan, morning. Present mostly. That's all. Look, I just need warm bodies, okay? Extra credit for a good one-liner from a movie. I would have to say mine, I don't even know because I'm not a big sword and sorcery buff or movie, but I would probably say, for some reason, Willow sticks in my head. Willow, Mad Mardigan, favorite quote, out of the way, Peck. I don't know the villain in that movie. Favorite heroine would probably be Tanya Roberts' character in Beastmaster, just because I'm that guy. Well, and I was younger. Come on. Bav Morda? I don't know Bav Morda. Bav Morda? Rip Torn in Beastmaster is probably my favorite villain. It's got to go way back for me. Krull was listed and the cool star thingy. Morning, Eileen. Good to see you. Max. That's right. Well, it was Willow. That was the little guy's name, right? In Willow, right? Is Max, right? I don't know. The little guy's name. Don't roast me for that. Come on. Kiri in Beastmaster. Above Morta is villain in Willow. Okay, thanks, Gabe. It's been a long time since I've seen any of these movies. Like long, like I don't know if I've seen them in the last 30 years. Max is the big bad evil guy and Beastmaster. Mad Mardigan, Van Kilmer, yeah, Val Kilmer, yeah. Um, my wife has realized I had a rough week, so she's like, "I'm gonna take you somewhere Saturday." And I go, "Oh, we don't have to do that. Like, it's not a big deal, right?" And she said, "No, no, no. I'll take you out. We'll go somewhere." And I'm like, "Well, is it dinner? Like, should I make?" She goes, "Should I make reservations?" I said, "No, we don't have to make reservations. Like, we're beyond all that crap." She's like, "I don't know. We'll go somewhere. We'll get a bite to eat something, and then I want to take you somewhere." And I got somewhere to take you. And I said, "Okay, all right." And then eventually, it finally comes out. She wants to take me to a place here in Madison called Geeks Mania, and Geeks Mania is an arcade, a video arcade. And not too long ago, I took my buddy Jeff to a comedy show, and before the comedy show, we went to an arcade called Aftershock. And I had never been, and it's like we've got like 3 arcades that popped up in Madison within the last, I don't know, 5 or 6 years, and I haven't ever been. And man, it was a thing. One of the highlights of my teenage years. I had an older buddy, a mutual friend of Jeff and I's, who, and he's been in the chat before, but he's 3 or 4 years older than me, so he had his license before I was even close to driving, and it would be like, "Hey, want to go to Madison? We got some. Hey, let's go to Spaceport." And Spaceport, I think, was a franchise I think some of you might even recognize the name because I think it was a franchise type of arcade. But it would be down on a place called State Street. And State Street's downtown Madison, and it still is today. And has always been only open to like delivery vehicles and buses. Like it's the street. That's it. No car traffic. And it's right off the square. What's the square, Sean? We've got the Capitol, and there's a square around it. So State Street's off the square. A lot of college campus. Like when we were teenagers, it would be a thing to go down State Street, hang out. Like that's where my first FLGS was, Pegasus Games, which is still in Madison under different management, but they were 444 State Street. That was the address, and it was like this. It was a very small building, and that's where I bought half my RPG stuff when I was growing up. And of course, it was always a go to Madison, grab something to eat, probably a gyro on State Street at Zorba's, go across the street to Pegasus Games, see what they had in for stock, and then hit Spaceport. And my buddy and I would like collect all our quarters. And I mean, if we had $20 in quarters each, like we were set. Anyways, so I was a big arcade kid when I was growing up. And we'd go in there and just spend tons of money. And anyway, so this Aftershock went up with Jeff, and I was like, "Oh man, I gotta go in the back." And there's a bar in the front, and there's pinball machines, and they could serve beer. And it's I've never seen so many black T-shirts and beards other than a gaming convention, but in a small little bar. And we were just having a couple drinks before we went off to the show. But I got like, he's like, "I gotta go to the bathroom." So I didn't take a look around, but I went in the back. They had like Spy Hunter, Donkey Kong, Pac-Man, Defender. I don't know if they had Tempest, like a lot of the classics. And so if you grew up in that era or have seen those machines, and they're all in immaculate condition. And so now tonight, Geeks. So the difference between Aftershock and Geeks Mania is I think Geeks Mania, you can buy like a $15 pass, and then you get access to all the machines. I don't know what their machine inventory looks like. But Aftershock was cool. It was impressive. And it was on like a Thursday night where it wasn't very busy. So I can imagine Saturdays and Fridays, you're probably sitting around waiting for, something to open up. And it's all quarters at Aftershock, as far as I know. Like they had a change machine and everything. I don't even know if it's tokens. It could be just quarters. But anyways, I thought that was interesting. So I want to pose this to all my Gen Xers and not Gen Xers that are still arcade or classic arcade aficionados. What is your favorite all-time arcade game ever? Like if you could take that thing and put it in your basement, I mean, I was such a video game arcade junkie that the dream for me was getting a basement big enough to start my own arcade, to put in my own consoles. And the thing is, I don't even have, like, my sister's not an arcade junkie. She's got a cocktail, one of those cocktail games, cocktail table, and then you could just pick different games. But I gotta, like, for me, it's the authenticity. And I know there's MAME machines out there and they've come a long ways and you can build it all your own, put in a Raspberry Pi and, everything would be looking great. But dude, there is a certain authenticity with the buttons and the pushes and the levers. And if it's like the ball joystick with the kind of, it's got the textured ball. It's not smooth and round. I guess it depends on what game you're playing, right? Like Defender, it's like, yeah. Anyways, just reminiscing, being nostalgic. I mean, and I came up through Pong, right? Like, so I've seen them all. Space Invader, like, oh, Space Invader's cool. And then it was like Tempest, oh, awesome. Then Centipede and then Pac-Man and then it just went bonkers from there. Favorite sword fight, picking up where we left off in the beginning, Princess Bride. Kappa. Hey, Kappa. You didn't miss anything. We just started. Morning. Scotchy. 10 p.m. Yeah, it's a nice Saturday night evening. Gabe says, maybe more than 3 arcades in Madison. I've been to at least 3 when I visit a son of mine. Oh, really? Well, there is, yeah, that might be now. That's awesome, dude. Go there with your son. That's awesome. Ryan worked at both a movie theater and an arcade. Dude, I don't know, man. I think about how I grew up, and I think about and it's all nostalgia bullshit, and sometimes that's looked at as a big negative, but I don't care. I look at some of the things we did when we were growing up and the kind of freedom that we had and some of the things we've seen as a generation, and I think to myself, we're the greatest generation ever. I really believe that. Now, they say the World War II era is the greatest generation that ever lived, and don't get me wrong, we have been through our stuff, and that I think also makes us an interesting one. And people will say, Gen Xers, they're a bunch of doorknobs or whatever. They don't care about anything. I don't think that's always necessarily true. And I think also that there's some things with any generation that people say that just, you can't apply it to everybody, right? That was born in a certain year and they all kind of think the same way. That's not the case. But I got to say, like, growing up in the analog era and then going to where we are today, dude, it's crazy to even think about. And so we can wax poetic about like rotary telephones and corded everything to now it's like, and of course we can always pull I got dice older than you, which I'm not a big fan of, but it is something to be said about just having an appreciation from like where we were to where we are. Now, having said that, that's not always like where we were and where we are doesn't always mean that that's better. So the current state of affairs, obviously, right? Anyways, let's go. I know something you don't know. I am not left-handed. Favorite quote. Tim, spaceport. Spending all afternoon in the cramped arcade surrounded by poorly maintained machines and the haze of cigarette smoke. Oof, yeah. Yeah. It was always like, I wonder if we can get on this machine. Gauntlet was the one, I think some of the ones that came out with, I always had people huddled around, like Gauntlet when it came out. I can't remember. So it was better to go there during the week if we could. Big fans of Miss Pac-Man and Dragon's Lair. Dragon's Lair. They had Dragon's Lair at Atomic or whatever, that place. Don Bluth blew my mind. I had no idea a video game could be that. Yeah. Laserdisc. Isn't that crazy? Gabe, does Geeks Mania not have a bar? My son and I were less into that one. Yeah, I think they do. I haven't been to that one, Gabe. I've heard because, like, so my wife's consulting with my nephew. My nephew's 30. And she's like, I want to take your uncle out. Where should we go? And he's like, well, does he want to drink? And then he recommended Geeks Mania. But I like Aftershock, honestly. It's got like retro stuff all over the place. At Aftershock, you could sit at the bar, and it's got like these like weird patterns of old stuff all over the place. And I don't know. Growing up, there was classic 80s Neon Arcade that was right next to Toys R Us and Mile High Comics. We had Aladdin's Castle in the mall. It couldn't hold a candle to Spaceport, in my opinion. And it was in the mall, right? But if you went to the mall, I go to Aladdin's Castle. Right next to like 2 doors down from Spencer Gifts. From a small town, no arcade growing up. Well, so same here, Copper. So when I say like Madison, when I grew up, I'm a half-hour drive. Where I grew up was a half-hour drive out of Madison. So going to Madison and going to State Street was a deal. Like, Mom, I'm gonna go with my buddy. We're gonna go downtown. Okay, be careful. Right? I was probably about 13, 14 tops. Like, I don't know. Just imagine like allowing I don't know if Chicago's that's probably not the right thing, but when like I remember my mom taking my sister and I down State Street, and it was like a big deal because, you just don't take your kids down State Street for whatever reason. Like, I don't know why. It didn't have a bad reputation. I don't think it had a bad reputation. It's kind of like saying like, you don't go in that neighborhood because of bad things. And then you go in the neighborhood and you live there and there's nothing wrong with it. Like, it's like one incident and it dooms it forever. I think that's what the reputation was for State Street. Now it's a bunch of college kids. You do have State Street is the weirdo place for Madison back in the day. Like, you had Tim, who is the guy? The singer? God damn it. Purple Bananas on the Moon, right? What's his name? Paul. Art Paul? Root Paul? Art Paul? Street performers, all kinds of stuff. Tim says I could think of 3 games that I could beat without dying. Mad Planets, Heavy Barrel, and Street Fighter 2. Solid. Yeah. I was not a big scroller. We played like 1942, but not like, yeah. Mike, I really like going to arcades, but I did not have a favorite game. I played them all poorly. Yeah. Gabe, I would choose Gauntlet because that was my fave on the NES. I wouldn't throw away my quarters on the arcade version. I couldn't play Gauntlet to save my life on the arcade version. Jim, we had a small arcade pool hall for a couple of years when I was a kid, but that was the early 80s arcade boom. I mostly played NES. When I got into high school, the thing was to go to the Union down on campus. So we'd be like high schoolers playing pool at the Union because at the Union, they had a pool hall. So it was, you get the balls and you rent it by the hour. So we played pool for a while. Gauntlet arcade game was all my time fave. My teen years, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. College years, Gauntlet Legends. But I grew up with a pinball machine in my basement, so my all-time favorite table there would be LOTR. I think mine would be Grogar. I think that's the pinball machine I knew the most. Remember Tilt in the Westgate Mall? I vaguely didn't get to the west side very often, but I do remember they had one, and I did get in there like once or twice. It wasn't a ton. Tie for me, Major, Havoc, or Galaga. That's a good one. Galaga was a good one. Could get up to like a few hundred, 100,000 on the scoreboard. William, morning. Time Crisis. God, there's so many. Paperboy, the Moonraker, Moon whatever. Like the little car that goes across. You like hit the button and it's like bounces over the craters. Like there's so many. Farty. Good to see you. I worked at an arcade in high school. It was awesome. Dragon's Lair blew my mind. The game was amazing. I also went from handing out quarters to handing out loonies. Loonies? What's a loony? What the hell is a loony? Orcus Dorcas easy. Discs of Tron. Oh, that was a cool one. Environmental cabinet. I remember that. Close second would be Donkey Kong Jr. Cocktail Table. Great memories attached to both. Yeah. I missed the arcade era by a few years, but I do love pinball. I keep begging Brandon to get me a pinball machine. He wants to build a cabinet with a bunch of game options. Yeah. Like generational stereotyping is bullshit. Well, yeah, it's true. But I don't even care. Like, hey, I'm Xer. What do I care? Galaga, Dig Dug, Tempest. The one I could not stand, I absolutely loathe, Cubert. I could not play Cubert to save my life. I'm like, what is this? I don't even understand. I would be like, left, right, woo, off the edge. And then you'd have that crack onto the side of the cabinet when you died. Moon Patrol, that's the one. Moon Patrol, Space Fury, Phoenix Command, Galaxian. Oh my God, Star Castle. Arcades were foundational for me. Yeah, man. I think the games I felt I could play for an extended amount of time were Asteroids, because I saw somebody roll it. And once I found out how they did it, okay. I used to buy the books, right? Patterns, what stages were what, how to be where, and how to conquer it. I would say Galaga or Galaga, depending on where you're from. Galaga, Joust was a big one for me. And most of these was because they were at a community center in the town I grew up. So they would get like 2 arcade or 3 arcade games. And so I would just play those to death because they were there and right across the street from me. Punch Out, I think it was Super Punch Out actually. Super Punch Out, Asteroids at one point in time. I knew the pattern for Pac-Man, so I could get up to like, I don't know. I think it was like keys and then bars, right? I can't remember if it went bars and then keys, like silver bars, gold bars, keys. I could get up to like the 7th key, if I'm not mistaken. Before RPGs, he says. Yeah. Gabe, my dad was from the pinball generation and had 3 of them in our basement. That's awesome. I prefer to play pinball in the arcade now. I'm pretty good at pinball. Years of practice at home. Yeah. Dude, I'm going to guess from your dad's era, it was the old analog ones, man, where they would just like, I remember being at a bowling alley because I was part of a youth bowling team, right? Bantams. And you'd have to wait for the seniors to get done or the juniors or whatever and had to sit around in like the bowling alley. And I remember always like having one pinball machine. It was before digital came out. And those frickin' things would just, the score would, yeah, good times. Cubert. Yeah, you don't remember Cubert? Ryan? Harrigan. And then in college, the Star Wars game. High score on campus, baby. I specialized in that. And bubble hockey. Oh, bubble hockey. Foosball? Dude, I went to Europe in 1989. And this might have been 90, actually, when I went over there. And went to a bar and saw some guys playing foosball. Dude, I was like, I've never seen anybody play it like it in America like they do over there. It was crazy. Flint Fire 4, generated arcade games, Paperboy, Burger Time. Could not do Burger Time, even though I know it was like, isn't that the one that came with the ColecoVision? Like you got that one as the core game. I was like, I cannot do Burger Time. And then I didn't see it very often. If I saw it in an arcade, I'd walk right by it. Like, what is that thing? Gorf. 5 games in 1. My buddy Jeff was a Gorf fan. Jeff's not an arcade player. Gorf, that's the only game he would ever play. I grew to like pinball later in life with the Addams Family. What a game. Remember the Addams pinball game? That was an experience for sure. Our mall arcade was just next to Orange Julius. Hell yeah. I had buddies of mine that worked at Orange Julius. You would never want to buy a drink from them, though. I just want to say. There was also Ghostbusters pinball game. Gorf, great. Also had on the ColecoVision. Nice. Art Paul Schlosser. Thanks, Mike. Art Paul Schlosser. That's right. Art Paul. Purple Bananas on the Moon. Staple. I heard he had passed away. Is that right? That's really unfortunate. He was, to give you guys an idea of Art Paul, he kind of reminded myself of Emo Williams. And if you don't know who Emo Williams is, look him up. But Art Paul would come and he'd have like a tweeted jacket. I don't know if he wore a bow tie, but like a tweeted jacket. Kind of had a bowl haircut, if I remember correctly. And he had a kazoo, right? He had the like neck harmonica holder, but with a kazoo. And then he had an acoustic guitar. He'd make up all kinds of goofy songs. And he eventually, I think a DJ in Madison, Sly, who gets mixed reviews for being, who he is. I think he took him in and like had him record an album or something. I still have my Intellivision. Does it work, dude? Television. I won second place for a CineStar tournament at Knott's Berry Farm. I believe it was one of the first to have digitized voices. Dude, CineStar. CineStar was terrifying and stressful. CineStar, Knott's Berry Farm, Lucky. Lucky. Gorgar Pinball is a well-known pinball game. That's the one. I think I had more fun at Knott's Berry than Disney. Also, thank you for asking a question that makes me feel young on my birthday. Hey, happy birthday. Happy birthday, Elaine. Yeah, feel young. Us old bastards. Grogar coming to DCC. I saw that. Orange Julius, hot dog on a stick and a Sbarro pizza was a good day at the mall. Dude, I had a route. Like if I arrived, first stop here, like depending on where we parked, but it was first stop here, second stop there, third stop here. Walden Books, Hobby Horse, Spencer Gifts, Arcade, KB Toys. I think we're all the ones. Moon Patrol. Loonies are Canadian dollar coins. Ah, okay. Josh dropped in. We're talking about arcade games. Yep. I might be going to an arcade later today, so I wanted to know what everybody's favorite arcade game was. Our local pizza shop in my hometown always had 2 arcade games. It was just a carry-out pizza shop, but we spent time playing while waiting for our order to be ready. I remember Space Invaders there. Doom, 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 doom. Nick, Joust, Robotron. Man, I'd watch good people play Robotron. I was like, what in the hell? It's just shit everywhere. Tron, solid. Gauntlet. Smash TV. There was also the one with the monsters that you would smash. They made it a movie with Rock, I think, right? Like they would smash buildings and you'd eat people. We played Cybertron. I think it was like the robot football game. We had our go-tos. Oh, dude, Cybertron? Totally. Cubert was something to figure out for sure. I could get up the level where he had to change the squares 4 different colors. I also, there was a handful I just utterly despised. Cubert was one. Pango I didn't like either. Dig Dug was okay, but it wasn't my jam. It's probably all the ones that are just like, Electronic Gaming Monthly, and that was the other, what was the other rag? Dude, I don't remember. I used to get the books, I love playing Asteroids on the computer with my dad as a little kid. Thanks, Eileen. I lived in a small-ish town. The local bowling alley also had only video arcades, but they had a few games. But they had 8 of games. Come on, man. Victor, let's see. Wayne, if any of you are up for the heat, check out Southern Fried Gaming Expo in Atlanta. Hundreds, perhaps thousands of arcade games. That's fantastic. They got those on tour. We get one in Milwaukee every once in a while. Nintendo Power or maybe Computer Gaming World. Yeah, those started hitting the computer sides of things. I remember having an Atari with a Pac-Man, Dig Dug, and Pong. Yeah. Nintendo Power subscription. Orcus Dorcas, anyone play half-real pinball video game Pac-Man arcade game? It would switch between the two. It was like an arcade cabinet with a small pinball machine. I did. I remember that one. It was a weird pinball machine. It was like half a 27-inch monitor vertical. It was a very weird. Or a couple of those, Orcus, including a Pac-Man game. Yeah. Emo Williams or Emo Phillips. Oh, Emo Phillips. Emo Williams was like the movie, right? Emo Phillips. Remo Williams. Getting all my guys' names mixed up. Spent my lunch money on Defender every morning at the bowling alley on the way to school on my BMX bike in 6th grade. Hell yeah. Defender. Television, yes, including the IntelliVoice module. Favorite voice is still Berserk. Love Berserk. If you like adapting video games or tabletop games or just like video games or listening to Sean, don't forget to like and subscribe. Ryan, you're something, buddy. A couple more I was really good at because I spent hundreds in quarters on them. Altered Beast, Rampage. Rampage is the one with the animals. Robotron 2084. Rampage was the one. What animal did you play in Rampage, Tim? Dude, I played the gorilla or the ape. Cool. Coin detected in pocket. Hey, remember, you got next game. Hey, that's my quarter. Right? That's my quarter. That's mine. I'm up next. Rows of quarters. That's mine. Like, oh, okay. Rampage. Yeah. This is a video game, vintage 80s video game sound effects podcast. Battlezone. Oh, yeah. That was another one the community center would have. And I did really well on that one. I could play that for like an hour because, again, watch one person, see what they do, just mimic what they do. And it was like, it would always be forward, make sure you don't hit an obstacle. And then when you'd see one, you'd go past them and then you'd back up so that they're like right in line behind you on the radar. And then you would do a quick pivot and blow them away. Rinse, repeat until them stupid freaking buzzers would come, right? Then what you had to do is you had to get behind an object so that they go right over you. And then when they come over, because it was always left to right and then directly at you. So you'd get behind an object and just sit there and wait, and they would go over, and you'd have to time it right. So when they'd start their pattern, they would jump over that obstacle. They'd land, and you'd pop them. Rinse, repeat, baby. Yeah. Tonight I'm going to totally not do any of those things and get my ass handed to me. Cyberball was the 4-player robot football game I was really good at. That one too. Yeah. Tim, we might have stood next to each other like, hey, man, you guys going to be done soon? Chicken. Fight like a robot. I'm old enough that malls and arcades were a part of my childhood and early teens, but they were on their way out. Yeah. What are you going to do? Gotta go to the mall. Think there'll be girls there? Let's hope so, man. And then you'd follow the group of girls around. Like, hey. Dude, it's a thing. Emo Phillips is still out there. I saw him a few months ago. Nice. Math Cow. Good to see you. I'm the next generation down, so for us, it was more about the fighters and side-scrollers. Mortal Kombat, Primal Rage, TMNT. As things started, started getting away from those, but they were awesome games, looking games. I wasn't the big Smash guy. I think the slowest beat-em-up arcade game ever, Karate. You guys remember Karate? And then you'd have the boards, right? The bonus screen. See how many boards you could crack? That was that generation. Like super slow, man. None of that stuff. None of that fast action stuff. All the monsters in Rampage were the same, but different skins. But obviously Kong was the best. You gotta have somebody play Kong. Most annoying sounds in the whole arcade, Centipede. Holy 100%. Coolest sounds, sometimes I thought Tempest. Completing a stage. It's also loud as shit. Also love Time Pilot, Scramble, Pit Stop. How about Outrun? Any drivers? Outrun. What else was there? Dude, I remember playing. This is how old I am. I'm bragging about how old I am. I remember the black and white Atari maybe two steering wheel, high-low shifter, black and white. And this track was like dashes. And you would like go around. I can't remember the name of the game. It was terrible. Gave something like Narc. It was a side-scroller fighter like Golden Axe, but also had a vehicle component. If by Kong you mean Lizzie. Well, actually, Lizzie, yes. No one remembers the werewolf's name. I found Turtle Power Yell from TMNT to be annoying, even though I love that game. Skate or Die, yes! 720 degrees, baby. So we used to use that saying whenever we would watch skaters. So if a skater was going down like the sidewalk or the street and they would like hit a crack or something, they'd like bump off their skateboard, be a skate or die, dude. Ralph is the werewolf or the wolf. Skate or Die. But it wasn't Skate or Die, was it? It was 720. Skate or Die was like the thing it said in it, right? Come on, guys. Love the Star Trek vector graphics game, especially sit-in cabinet. Yes! I was just going to say, as soon as you said Star Trek, I'm like, the sit-in cabinet. It is total Battletech with different colored graphics, right? And you had the little spin wheel with the buttons, shields forward. It's like an asteroid sitting down. Except it didn't have the buttons to rotate the ship. Track and field. Oh, yeah. Dudes, we had track and field at the community center one time, but it had the track ball. We had, like, I remember blisters on my fingers, and people would come in with, like, their hands taped up and everything. It was crazy. Zing, 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 zing. Karate Champ, that's what it was. Karate Champ, not karate. Karate Champ, yeah. Pole position. Excite Bike. Oh God, could never play Excite Bike. Go over to jump, land, do the handlebar thing right over the handlebars. The world will soon learn the superiority of Australian chicken salt, original and yellow. I loved Excite Bike. Mappy, elevator action, rolling thunder. Dude, so many. Pole position is what I meant, Tad. Pit stop. Yeah, that's C64. I remember that. Had the pattern on. I could whip through that sucker. Skate or Die was a computer and NES game, but I only saw 720 in arcades. Yes, that would be, I think, accurate. Skate or Die was ported. Oh, I got yeah. So you guys went from like Skate or Die to the like consoles. Did Xers have the PSAs on arcade games, or was that a Reagan Bush thing? Before the games something would pop up to say winners don't do drugs and such. Well, the war on drugs started with Nancy, I believe. And then I think Tipper was the one that was putting on all the maturity things on CDs and for the audio things. So it was late where it had those on there. Yeah, early 90s, I think, for sure. Definitely later. Also, Frontline, Rally X, Operation Wolf. Dude, so many good ones. WWF was one. That PSA was on WWF. WrestleFest, yeah. Morning. Good to see you, Michael. I saw you were at GaryCon. Hope you got some good games planned for the day. Zaxxon, one of the most annoying controller, trackball, and rows of buttons. Zaxxon, it didn't have a trackball, did it? You played the wrong one, man. Yeah, I had the joystick one. I tried to put that liquid into my oxygen. Oh, that hurts. Ow. Ah. It did not feel good. Remember the pencil or ruler hack for track and field? No. But what was that? I don't remember how that worked. I think I might have heard of it, but never used it. Sega Mega Drive Extreme games. Afterburner, Spy Hunter, yes. Spy Hunter. Not great at it, but okay. Afterburner, oh man. Talk about revolutionary, but expensive as a kid. Oof. Was it like 4 or 6 quarters? Notice I didn't say $1 or $1.50. Oh, so fun. Afterburner, man. 720 did make it to NES. Kicks, hated that one. Afterburner was sick, dude. No trackball and Saxon? Yeah. Some of them did motto. There was like every once in a while, like track and field was like, oh, tap, tap, tap. And then all of a sudden they like, oh, let's put in a trackball. Petrol Chick was using it to press both. Oh, that's what it was. Press both buttons at once. Yes, that's right. Now it comes together. No, we never did that. We weren't that smart. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I don't know on a Saturday night how crazy these places get. So I don't want to get in there and wait, minutes and an hour to play get on a game. Could alternate incredibly fast with just 2 fingers on one hand. Yeah. We'll see. I got my go-tos that I'm going to check out for sure. Probably, I wanted to look up the pattern for Pac-Man so that if I ever went into an arcade, I could just be like, okay, I'm going to be sitting on this thing for a while and kind of go through it. And I tried to remember, like, muscle memory through it. And I was like, nah, I'm just not getting it right. I can't remember. And there's probably 3 times the pattern changes, because if you don't change it, like there's times when the ghosts don't blink, so you can't do the same pattern as if you're going to eat them. So you have to wait longer, and then there's one you have to take a different route. Going to Aftershock today or a regular GameSpot cancel? Our regular GameSpot canceled. I don't know if it's going to, not Aftershock. I wanted to go to Aftershock. My wife's talking about Geeks Mania. No one mentioned Spy Hunter. Spy Hunter's up above. I think Harrigan threw it out there. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. Spy Hunter, like I think the most anticipated game I ever wanted to play that was broken the most amount of times I ever went to an arcade, Spy Hunter. Like, I'm so excited to play Spy Hunter. Get there, broke. Out of order, right? Out of order. God, man. I don't know what it was with that game. Nobody could like keep it in playing, or in order, if you will. Who says we don't talk about gaming here? So many arcade games. So many. And so many terrible ones, and like the evolution of some of them and what they did. Oil slick or smoke screen? Oil slick all the time. Because you just laid it just a bit. Just tap it. Enough to get you through. You may be surprised, Sean, when I played a random Gallagher cabinet for the first time in 25 years, I automatically did all the things from muscle memory. Yeah, but Pac-Man's different beast, man. I tried it once and I didn't get that far. Games in the wrong cabinet with the wrong controls. Art Tempest without the dial. No, 100%. Hey, how do you say you're in a shitty arcade without saying you're in a shitty arcade? The game in a different cabinet with the screen burn, right? Like the burn in. Oh, dude, Pac-Man burn in on a Donkey Kong game. What? And what the hell is this shit? The joystick is like 3 inches further to the left and the buttons are closer, and there's 3 of them or 4 of them? What the hell is this bullshit? What is this, like Donkey Kong in a freaking Defender cabinet? Dude, nothing. Teenage rage right here. Like, that was my teenage rage. Oh! My guess the speakers would crack out and die. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. What would the RPG be about? It's Gauntlet, right? Galago is a bar game for me. Many reps. Yeah. Bonus stage. Dun, 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 dun. Last Starfighter, I know Goodman's making some pinball-themed adventures. He is. Wonder if Zaxxon I played had the wrong setup. That would explain a lot. Sometimes they dick stuff up like that. It was driving me crazy. Tempest with joystick. Yep, Sean, that. Ick, no. No, just say no. They used to have Joust at the Pizza Hut back when Pizza Hut used to bake the pizza in the black iron pans. I remember those. Joust was my game. It was one of the big ones. I'd hit 200,000 without blinking. There are a few Pizza Hut classic locations around. Still look like the 80s inside. Oh, I bet. Might as well bring it back. Although Xers are such a small set of the population. Good times. Thanks for placating all that. It's good stuff, right? Sometimes, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what, nostalgia gets the bad rap, but I don't know. I look back fondly upon some of the things that we did when we were kids. And live to tell about it. Yeah, let's chase him down in a car. Yeah, it's like, and it's not like a 2,000-pound car. It's like a 4,000-pound car. Let's go racing in the dark without our headlights on and scare the bejesus out of each other and chase each other around town. Yeah, that's smart. Good sentimental journey. Thanks, Mike. So is the Boss's Glory Days playing in the background for everyone else's? Yeah. Glory Days. Right, exactly. I had a friend, he was a great baseball player back in high school. Yeah. You get the Xers and older millennials who did book it in school to get personal pan pizzas. Some of the things in the 80s were good, some things were not. No, that's true. It's any generation, I would say. Just, good times, man. And, we think about some of those things, and we do encapsulate some of the good things, right? Some of the, we don't want to talk about back in the 80s during the OPEC crisis and all the craziness that our parents were dealing with. And now we're like, hey, shocker. Wow. So much for learning from history. Yay. I don't know. So we'll see. I told my wife, so basically, you're going to stand next to me while I play these video games all night. Yeah, probably. And she'll be the one that puts oh, this is nice. And she'll put in a quarter and she'll last 5 minutes and then it'll be done. And she'll be like, okay, can I get a quarter? Cold War kids. Yeah, man. Fallout shelters, the whole shebang. Pizza Hut and Straw Hat was the school ditch meeting spot. You have a patient wife, dude. I know. She won't be that patient. Don't give her too much credit. She'll put up with it for a while. We'll be a half hour. I'll play one game. And if I'm lucky, I can get to a half hour on one quarter on one game. And she'll be ready to go. She'll be like, oh, so have you played any other ones? Do you want to, how's it going? You want to leave, don't you? Well, no, we don't have to. No, I want you to have fun. Okay. All right. Sounds good. The constant background fear of nuclear war. Yeah. Is Tad talking about today or was that the 80s? Yeah. In high school, when I ditched, we would go to a frozen custard and burger place called Cops. Yep. I know Cops down on 76th, right? There's one. I know they're all peppered out through Milwaukee, but Cops, the one that was local to me in high school, one high school I went to was on 76th. It might still be there. Yeah. Good times. And that's when we were playing D&D and all this shit, right? Right? This is when we were playing RPGs. When we had a break. This is what we did. Go to the hangout. Ooh, excuse me. Well, this fun reminds me I need to schedule my colonoscopy. You got another one already? Dude, 50? I think when you're 50 is your first one, Dorcas. You're I think younger than I am. See, no, we're probably almost the same age. But anyways, 50. And then if everything's clear, it's 10 years. So if it's not clear, TMI, baby. Men's health. Sorry, Eileen. And any other female that's in the chat. All right, let's thanks for memory lane, guys. I know a lot of us shared some of this stuff. I figured like somebody's gonna know all about this stuff. Our lives were very mirrored and very similar, and we experienced a lot of the same things just due to that era. So they want people to start doing those at age 25. You're kidding me? Kids are getting colon cancer in college now. That's nuts. It's probably because of exact sciences. Just saying. How do we get more people to take these tests? Anyways. Good stuff. Well, I don't have a topic, obviously. I just figured I'd pull that up and see what kind of banter we got, and it sounded to be a good one. Sometimes it's just talking about just being a person, so I figured why not. I know a few of you. All right. Whoops. See you, Joe. Thanks. Have a good one. I had to start colonoscopies at 30 because of family history. No need to apologize to me. Yeah. Yep, I get it. Why don't we, I don't know, let's get into news. We'll get to news, I think. If I get to the right spot in where I need to be. Boom, 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 boom. Who is a fan of Children of Time role-playing game? Or not role-playing game. Children of Time novels. Who was it? Ryan Dancy on LinkedIn. Because Matt Forbeck shared it. Ryan Dancy, mentioned him. He kind of slipped up at AAG. But he said it was the greatest science fiction books he's ever read. That doesn't mean anything to half of us, but it was an interesting, like every time I get somebody that's like recommends something, I'm always interested to kind of understand what that is. So I'm posing it to you to see if you agree, because they're going to make it a role-playing game. And Rowan, Rook, and Descartes are going to be doing it. So Adrian Tchaikovsky's Arthur C. Clarke Award-winning science fiction series. I was a big fan of The Expanse. I didn't read I do have one book I started reading, but I watched the series. It was fan, but I didn't go out and run out and get The Expanse RPG, but I am just interested in this. So apparently evolution, not just PBTA. So while the game draws DNA from Manivera Mcjanda's legacy, A Life Among the Ruins, the studio is keen to position this as a distinct evolution of their internal systems. The beats and fallout, mechanics seen in Heart, The City Beneath, return to ensure that failure remains a narrative engine rather than a dead stop. So interesting there. Ugh, gotta get my keyboard over here. Keyboard? Why are we using a keyboard? Isn't that like 2026? When are these things going to go bye-bye? Ah! Spy Hunter. Is this Go Bag? Yeah, indeed it should be. Children of Time. Oh, Children of Time is a good series. I've never heard of this. Yeah, I don't know. Yes, good series. Keep looking at the series, but keep putting it back after the first few pages. I'll have to push through someday. Yeah, I don't know. Get the arachnophobia trigger warnings ready if you run this. Oh, really? Arrived late. Hey, Anthony, good to see you. You probably did if you like arcades. I also like The Expanse. Very different from Children of Time, though. Interesting. Ooh, could be good. In other words, PBTA. Well, maybe. Fail forward mechanic. Let's see what else. From Critical Role to Boutique Roots, the rebuilding of Hunter's Entertainment. Go over to Geek Native and check these out and click on all their ads. Even though it's pretty minimum ads on this site, I will say. I do support Geek Native, I just want to say. Disclaimer. Ivan Van Norman, the founder of Hunters Entertainment, has announced a return to full-time leadership of the studio, signaling a strategic pivot away from corporate scaling and back toward independent role-playing games development. The move follows Van Norman's high-profile tenure in corporate sector, most notably with Darrington Press, and aims to address a period of relative silence and logistical friction of the Burbank-based publisher. They've done, by some of these logos, I think they did Kids on Bikes. They did Alice is Missing. That's the one from the farthest left. Kids on Brooms or something like that. So they have a good portfolio, and then it's kind of, where is that gone? So he's coming back to put things back on track. Also, he wants to talk about, let's see. There was a couple of projects that are listed in here, but he was also talking about like the decline of sales and the logistical components due to tariffs and all that stuff, and trying to make things, so that some of those issues don't arise. So I'll post you link. Origins Awards. It's always a good one to go through. 2026 TTRPG finalists. You guys got to check this out. I'll put it in now so you can even pull it up on your... Whoops. Let's try this again. Let's try this again. Role-playing game of the year, Age of Vikings by Chaosium. Chew, the role-playing game. Coriolis, the Great Dark. Cthulhu Bay by MS Edizione and Ares Games. Daggerheart, Land of Eam. Cosmere, Starfinder 2E. The Bonsai Diary by Gene Koo. Warhammer, the Old World Role-Playing Game Player's Guide by Cubicle 7. There's a list of some recognizable ones in there. Is that all? Is that the extent of them? I thought there was more categories. Maybe not. Role-Playing Supplement of the Year. Adventure, Calendar 19, Kitty Clack's Christmas by Black Oak Workshop. Alien RPG Rapture Protocol. Call of Cthulhu, The Sutra of Pale Leaves. Twin Suns Rising by Chaosium. Cthulhu by Gaslight. Chaosium, that's Keeper's Guide. Full Art Dice Set Porcelain by Q Workshop. I wonder if I have that. If I buy a porcelain set, but I don't know if it's from Q Workshop. Green Oaks. Yeah, baby. They get my vote. That doesn't matter. Green Oaks is the, you play all the elderly in a nursing home with cards. It's awesome. MS Edizione and Ares Games. Pendragon, Game Master's Handbook. Field Guide to Floral Dragons. Explorer's Box Set. I don't know, man. Just me. Floral and Dragons. The Vault of Many Things. And then Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay High Elf Player's Guide from Cubicle 7. So there you go. There's a few in there, and I think that's kind of it. They'll announce winners at Origins in June. Anybody going to Origins? Next, get the bonus. This one pointed out by somebody on the Discord. Sorry, I didn't grab the name. I don't know if it was who it was, but thanks for doing that. Trail of Cthulhu Mega. So if you're ever interested in Trail of Cthulhu, there is a second edition coming out, but nonetheless, if you want to get into first, I'm sure it'll be pretty compatible. Pretty decent library of Gumshoe Trail of Cthulhu. Totally worth the $18, $20. So if you're ever interested, here you go. Also, what is it going towards? Is it up there? What is the... I'm trying to think. What is the... Is there charity that's benefiting from this? Come on. No? Maybe not. I don't think so. Okay, whatever. So check this out. They also, I thought this was kind of interesting, Dead Ball. So if you're a baseball fan, have you explored Dead Ball? So it's not an RPG. It's almost like Stratomatic. You guys remember the Stratomatic games? Strato baseball, Strato football. Kind of reminds me of that, but I don't know. I was like, what is this thing? I'm going to look it up. And so it's the dice game that simulates baseball games past and present. It's a fast-paced game for one or two players that use real statistics every fan understands, like batting average and ERA, so new players can pick it up in minutes using the simple, intuitive rules and polyhedral dice. You can simulate an entire game between real or imaginary teams in about 20 minutes. In my teenage years, I would have picked this up in a heartbeat, although I was probably more into basketball and football than I was baseball. So there you go. It's on the same page as the Trail to the Omega. Oops, that's not the one I wanted. Humble Bundle. Got it from 3 bundle sites this week. Shadowrun 4th Edition Complete Collection. This thing, 90 items. Holy cow. Every probably first party published thing for 4th Edition. Look at this thing. It's crazy. I think a lot of people liked 3rd. 4th was probably a second kind of go, I guess. This keeps going and going and going. I mean, and this benefits the ACLU. There you go. So even if you're a 4th Edition Shadowrun fan and you don't have all of the stuff, there you go. Favorite makes me wonder who you favorite basketball players are. I was a Lakers fan. I was the kid that liked the Lakers. I got to see them when they came to Milwaukee when Kareem played for them. Dude, I was 17, 16, but I got tickets from a friend of mine. I think he bought them for me. Had a Lakers jersey or Lakers shirt. Went down to see them come out to the floor. I was just like, whoa. I could tell you the starting lineup. James Worthy was my favorite player. James Worthy and Clark Kent, man. Lakers. Yeah, that was mine. Knew the Bucks line up pretty well, but not as well as the Lakers. The other last bundle at Fanatical, Paranoia XP. It's about 21 items. And that's like $10. Dude, you guys can't beat this stuff. There you go. Stratomatic arcades, and now this. I am turning to dust as we speak. That or I need to use Head and Shoulders. Well, of course. Hey, is that soap your hand is sitting in? No, that's Palmolive. Don't squeeze the Charmin. 4th was good. I was surprised to have all the titles. I have a soft spot for 3rd. Nice. 80s basketball was a magic time. It was indeed. Free agency killed it. I don't know what I'm saying. I know people say that about football. Free agency killed it. Killed football. Paranoia, the game I want to run, but need the right table to play. That is for a sure. I have some PBTA stuff, Scotchy says, but I've enjoyed it even. I just think it's funny how everyone tries to differentiate their flavor of the month PBTA with different buzzwords. Yeah. Daggerheart going to win that hands down. Maybe. If only I liked the 4th Ed rules, I would buy this in a heartbeat. Paranoia desperately needs a modern rules rewrite. Didn't they just put it out there? Funny enough, Tim, Willow was sitting at the table with the guy, the Forbidden Lands game I ran at GameholeCon, not last year, the year before. And the person that was responsible for rewriting Paranoia was at that game. I didn't even know it till after the fact. All right, let's print news. Thanks to the folks over at EN World, where I support them as well, just so you're aware. Whispers of the Woods by Helltongue Storytelling OSR hardcover core rulebook is out and available. Minimalistic RPG in which the PCs are 18th century villagers on a journey into mysterious dark woods. Next one, Dragon's Horde 6162 by Legendary Games. It's for D&D 24. Still using 24 even though now it's 5.5. Just saying. Somebody didn't get the memo. Legendary classes, Wanderer, Legendary Games. Legendary Games just pumping out stuff. Bam, 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 bam. Next one, War from the Stars, E1. System is Adventures Dark and Deep. Swords of Cthulhu. Module contains both the Lovecraftian fantasy adventure and complete mini setting. Isolated, backwards, and content to keep to itself. The Eventide Valley has always been a place of mystery and a source of rumor and legend. Next one, Epic Encounters, Glade of the Evil Oak by Steamforged Games. These miniatures are only available for D&D 2024. Next, Crown of the Oathbreaker, The Midnight Tavern. Like, how can you tell that's for D&D without telling you it's for D&D? Look at that cover. It's like right off the D&D press. Next one, Otherworld Demon Idol. Now, this one is only for OSR, just so you're aware. By Crooked Dice Game Design Studio. 28mm unpainted white metal miniature with a 20mm plastic slot base for $5. And it's metal? Interesting. My buddy Jeff has the dice tower. That's pretty cool. And lights up from that. The bowl. The flames. That's it. That's all I got. Almost right to the hour, right? Thanks for joining me. Very much appreciate it. Give some credit where credit is due. Oh, I picked the wrong way. This way. Thanks to patrons. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thanks for supporting me. Thanks for being here today. You. Very much appreciate it. Worth waking up. Thanks. Thanks, Lloyd. I hope you can make it again. Very much appreciate it. It's good to see new faces. I would love to say that every week is going to be RPG hardcore, but, you know, the balance is like not regurgitating the same like issue over and over and over and over again, which is always a challenge. But, you know, some of us have other things in common that we can come together on, like frickin' 1980s arcade games, man. Catch everyone. Yeah, a lot of the personalities you see in the chat can be found in the Discord. I think there's a link in the down below if you want to join. Thanks, Harrigan. Appreciate it. May your quarters never run out. Yeah. Let's talk player agency every week. Right, Gabe? Yes. Good. Hey, thanks for the topic suggestion, buddy. Scene framing. Fudging dice, GM screens. Yeah, all good stuff. Otherwise, you know, check out this video over here. No, over this way. Does this guy know what he's doing? Otherwise, let's just keep in mind that things that are in motion in the world, we are gamers. And I would hope that any gamer anywhere in the world is welcome at any of our tables. Despite what leadership in certain countries are dealing with, we all have games. And that's what brings us together. So go out and game, have fun, enjoy each other's company, take care of yourself and each other. And I'll catch you on the next one. Next week, Saturday, 8 a.m., straight here. Be there, be square. Thanks, guys. See ya.